on this computer. Thank you very much for coming. Another day, another episode, right?
So 130,
100. Oof, that's a
30 was
long,
like
big
13
difference,
away
bro.
to the
230 days
show.
ago, bro. What?
313 away to the show. We got
Basically.
our first guy in Minneapolis, Ahmed El-Mawas. Welcome to the
Thanks,
show.
man.
Yeah,
Thanks for
go
having
ahead
me.
and let the
Ahmed's
world
up.
know who you are and what you do.
Well, what's up, everybody? My name is Ahmed. Today, I am a working actor. Thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First actor.
Today, after a long time of work.
A very long
Yeah,
time.
pretty much. Very long time.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
Ahmed, let's get right into it. There's something we were talking about right before the show, before you popped in. I want to ask you about fame and its effect on you and its effect on other people you've worked with in the acting industry. You know, some people really pop off and fame really affects them. Has popularity affected you, and have you seen it affect your friends in any way?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I have definitely seen a difference. Um, you know how I made a joke saying, finally after a long journey, it took a while. The nice thing is, while I was on that journey, I was doing there was a lot of introspection, a lot of internal work. And what I mean by that is part of that journey is not only becoming a spectacular actor, the best at your craft. It's also about knowing yourself, exploring yourself internally, being grounded with who you are as a person, and identifying your morals, strengthening them, and just building up on them, so that no matter what external factor comes in, they're not going to crash you, they're not going to break you down. So I did a lot of that work, since 2010. You get to a point, you graduate college, you start to shift focus. I chose to prioritize my life, right? So I did all that groundwork, and then once fame starts to hit, you start to realize, oh, this is new. These people are new. I've got access to all these things, all this network, these connections. I have the ability to do whatever I want, right? This can hurt somebody, right? This can take them off the course. But when you have when you've invested a lot of time in building a foundation, all that stuff doesn't really affect you. You maintain your focus, you know who you are, and you still keep your circle of friends, right? I choose to keep my circle of friends because they knew me from the start. They know my flaws. They know me in and out before all the lights, before all the attention. So I think that's the difference. It can go two ways depending on how you prepare yourself for fame.
Right. Has any of your friends ever pulled you back and said, "Hey, this isn't you"? Like, has that ever happened with you throughout your career journey? Like them just noticing slight changes in your way of thinking or in your way of acting or anything?
I would say I received criticism before beginning my professional journey. And the reason for that is because when I was in college, I moved to the US from Lebanon. And when you move from Lebanon to the US, you go to college, you're filled with this idea that you can become whoever you want. You choose who you want to be, and then you just go for it.
Yep.
Which one? He's down.
Pretty much.
Well, this is recording on my screen, and he's over here,
Right.
so
Pretty much.
I'm pointing at this
yeah.
one right here. Yeah.
Yeah, so you choose who you want to be. And then I remember at that point, I went to college, I joined a fraternity. I was Mr. Social. I was out and about. I was very loud. It's just extra, right? That's why they call me ATM, always too much. For extra, right? But then, some of my fraternity brothers would tell me, calm down, stop being so selfish. The world doesn't revolve around you. It gets to a point people don't really like being around you because it's all me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at that point, like, I took it to heart because these guys are my close friends. Like, I know they love me. I know it's coming from a place of love. So I took that, and then I started working on myself and thinking about that, and just separating my ego from my being, because that's all ego shit. That's all insecurities. You know what I mean? So you do that work, and then that right there, that criticism helped me kind of structure my thoughts and and align me on a straight path on this journey.
Yeah.
Right.
And somewhat like you're lucky that you had this foundation before all the acting success, because a lot of people don't have those foundations. They get the success and they just don't know what to do with it. Pretty much. Interesting. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Something that I wanted to ask about, Ahmed, is how does the acting industry seem right now? Like, after COVID and with the new procedures that they have to apply during work, how is it working out for you? Since also you were working during that time period.
Yeah, so I think the industry is very optimistic, and when the pandemic hit, surprisingly, I had my best year. The past year and a half amidst the pandemic, I did a Netflix show. I did one movie in New York with Paul Ben Victor, Liam Neeson.
Wow.
It's not out yet, but I did that in the pandemic. And then I did a short film, Beauty of Warmth, also during the pandemic. That's where I won 2 awards from that film. So those 3 projects during the pandemic, I mean, that was cool. And then to me, that said that there's definitely no stopping in this industry, because they put together all the procedures and protocols, and these protocols are there's not like a COVID officer on movie sets. Somebody who's responsible to make sure people are wearing masks. You'll get yelled. I got yelled at a couple of times. Yeah, I was wearing my
That's
mask.
just the Arab in you.
You'll get
That's
yelled
fine.
at, right?
Not
Yeah.
to rules.
And then 6 feet apart. 6 feet apart separation. Everybody who's not an actor needs to wear a mask 24/7. COVID testing every 2 days. And then you have there's like a questionnaire that you fill in a form every day before you arrive to set about symptoms and whatnot. So they try to do their best to keep track of their talent, and get a view of how everybody's feeling, and they have that recorded too on paper. So, and if you lie on the paper, there are repercussions for that. If you get sick and they find out,
Oh wow,
sick, and I mean, it's all paperwork. They sign the paper for a reason, so you become liable eventually.
Well, a lot of people have this dream of making it out in Hollywood, right, and getting into like the movie scene and stuff. So it's interesting to see someone pretty much like me and Ali and Saeed, who comes from almost the same background, right, actually make it through. So what I want to know is what was that feeling of your first movie, right, sitting in the theater opening week, just watching yourself on that screen, right? What was that feeling? Describe it to me.
Yeah, man. So the first one was for a short film. It wasn't a feature film. It was a short film. And the theater was here in... Wait. No. The first short film that aired in a theater, it was Time. It's called Time. And it aired in Hollywood at the Chinese Theater.
Wow.
It was Indie Night Film Festival. Yes, bro. It was Indie Night Film Festival. It was a pretty big festival. Our film got selected. And I remember, because it was my first film ever, I wanted to make sure I recorded that moment and hold it close to my heart. So I hired a videographer. I got a whole crew to film the thing. I invited all my friends from Minneapolis, the same guys that have been in my social media videos that are with me today. They were in that. They all flew into LA, and then I just had this whole thing, and I did an after party after that. I just made and it's a short film, bro. You know what I mean? But look, I've always been my biggest cheerleader, right? And every inch of success, right? I exploit it. I take it to different, because a win is a win, man.
A win is
right?
a win.
To me, a win is a win. You work hard for that win. It doesn't matter how big it is to somebody else's eyes. To me, it's an accomplishment, and I'm gonna enjoy. I'm gonna soak it all in. So I'll share that video with you. It's actually a cool video.
This is pretty cool. I'd love to see.
Please share it. We'll link it.
That's
that's
cool,
awesome.
Yeah, but it's crazy because wait. So when did you move to the U.S.?
To the U.S.
Or were you born there, or what's?
2006.
2006, yeah. And did you go straight to Minneapolis, or?
Yeah, to Minneapolis. I went to college till 2011.
You know what?
And then after college, I worked in Minneapolis for 3 years. While I was working in Minneapolis, that's when I gotta tell you how I got into the business professionally. But in Minneapolis, I used to go to auditions for commercials, little projects here and there, and I got a little bit of success. And then that's when I said to myself, okay, time to move to LA to pursue it legitimately on the big scale.
Right.
And I remember you told us yesterday when we were just warming up, you studied electrical engineering.
Yeah.
Has that actually helped you in any way throughout your professional career? In like any skills that you've attained, maybe, or not necessarily on screen? It could be off screen as well.
Let me tell you something, bro. So engineering obviously pays well, right? Who funded time? It's my job, bro. I produced time, right? I partnered with another fraternity brother from a different chapter, came together and made this movie together. We financed it. And because I had a good job, I was bringing in good money, I could use that money and just invest it in my acting career. Mm-hmm. I've trained with Howard Fine. I've trained in the what's it called? One of the drama academies in London. I've trained with Jamal McNeil, who trained.
Just a second, wait, because we went from Lebanon to Minneapolis to LA, now to London. Like London, what's the story behind London?
Oh, I was there for work. Like my engineering, like I had a very high profile job, right? And I used to travel the world. And when I found myself in London, I was like, damn, let me enroll in the acting class while I'm still here. So I was doing my job and studying acting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was doing that, and man, this whole thing is connected. But let me just answer your question. Answer your question, bro. Engineering pays well. Acting is an expensive career, especially starting off. You need money for you to pursue this dream, right? Engineering job finance that dream. Period. Every opportunity that came about, there was some sort of backing from my job that pushed me there, and it funded the push. Yeah.
Right.
Incredible. That's a good way to come about it, because a lot of people, especially from Lebanon, if they want to get in the film industry, it's really, really, really difficult to get all the way to LA and start off as an actor.
Yeah.
I want to know. So when I wanted to come to LA, I remember when I was a high school graduate, everyone was like, "Your name is Ali. Who would want to hire you in Hollywood films?" And I was like, "What?" Yeah. And I wanted to know about your experience. Did anyone try to give you no, don't do this, it's not gonna work out for you?
Everybody.
Did you prove them wrong, or did you just not listen? Everybody, I guess,
right? People in Lebanon, everybody. There's not one person that said, "Oh yes, go do it 100%." The one person that said you should pursue this seriously was my drama teacher in Shwaifat, Sean Downey. That was in 2000. Wait, no, 2005.
Hold up. This was not in the warm-up session. You graduated from Shwaifat?
Oh, I saved the good stuff for you, bro. I did.
Bro, that's how me and Ali met. That's the school we used to go to.
They're alumni as well.
Really?
So crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Shwaifat. You got
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Shwaifat Kura.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay. So you're Trablos.
Yes,
like the other side of
Lebanon itself.
I can't believe it. We're alumni brothers.
You all graduated from the same school. I kind of feel left out, so we're moving on to first.
And graduating from there, what did it teach you? Because like you said, your drama teacher there supported your dream to become an actor. What did you learn from your experience, like learning drama in Lebanon or whatever experience you had there?
So our English program, we had the same program. You remember we did all the Shakespeare.
We did
12 night. We did Macbeth. We did
Romeo and Juliet.
We did Romeo and Juliet. I did a play for Romeo and Juliet in Shwaifat. Wow. That was my first one, 10th grade. Did Romeo and Juliet. I went into audition, and I just went in just heck, you know what I mean? As kids, just curious, right? I went into audition, and the next thing you know, they said, "All right, you could be Romeo." I'm like, what? Me? You know what I mean? I'm like, this game of braces and shit. Okay, yeah. I did it. Did a good job. And then the play was a success. And then next year, I guess they gave the school a bigger budget for a play. So we did
Yeah.
Cleopatra. You know, I went in, I was like, yeah, let me audition for Mark Anthony and see what happens. And I got Mark Anthony, a lead.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's
Not
like 2
bad.
plays back to back. But then I was 11th grade, and grade 11. I got to graduate, right? So that's 2 plays back to back. I was like, man, I'm actually good at this. You know what I mean?
Got
yeah,
you a
and then,
little.
and then that's what Mr. Downey said. You know, he actually called me to his office, and he was very antisocial with the students. I don't want to say antisocial. He was very private. Let me just say, he was very private outside of the classroom, right? And then for him to call me into his office, I was like, oh shit, all right. And then he told me, like, you have a talent, you have a skill, you should think about pursuing it. Don't let it go to waste. You know, and I was what, 15 years old at the time, you know, very impressionable. And yeah, and I said, okay. And I took that to heart. If you talk to him right now, he probably won't remember it. Well, look, because I brought it up at our alumni, we had an alumni, what's it called?
Reunion.
Yeah, we had a reunion about 3 years ago. And I told him, he does
I remember it.
I was like, well,
Wow.
thank you.
So
I
he
mean, I
lit
only
the spark
remember that-
basically for your career.
Yeah, he put me on stage, man.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, the guy put me on stage. The guy
he
coached
doesn't
me.
even- Yeah, like he doesn't even
Yeah.
remember. You know why? Take it from a bad kid back in school. They only remember the bad ones.
Yeah,
Trust me.
That's where they
They-
put all their attention,
That's
right?
true.
They only remember the bad ones. I used to be terrible at school, and they still remember me. Like I walk in, they're like, "Oh, it's the kid who did this, this, and that." I'm like, "Yeah, at least you remember what I did, right?" But it's pretty cool. It is. It's cool that he put that in you, like that dream, and you turned into realization, right? It's something.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah, when I see opportunity, bro, I tear it up. I've been like that since I was a kid.
It's pretty cool.
I was always a good student because I grew up in Ghana, West Africa. You know, until
Wait.
Bro, Mr. 305, well, you gotta relax a bit on us, man. It's like every day.
Ghana,
There's like a new
Lebanon.
country every time.
Saeed, hold up. Ghana, Lebanon, Minneapolis,
Pause.
LA, London.
I was actually born in London.
He was born in London as well. Like the circuit doesn't.
London.
Roll
Bro, you
back
gotta,
for a
like-
second.
Give us the timeline.
Ghana,
Yes.
Lebanon,
Yes.
Lebanon, Minneapolis,
Yes.
Minneapolis,
LA.
LA, London,
Hollywood.
London, back to LA.
Yeah, the London thing was like it was for work. It was like 6 months.
Yeah, it does. It still counts. So
Yeah.
it's all
and
right.
then now I'm between Minneapolis and LA. I've got
Right.
place here, place there. I've got a business here, and then obviously LA. I have to be there for acting.
Right. So
for-
business and acting. How do you manage that?
bro, somebody's got to pay, man. You know, like acting is a gig by gig basis.
Is it?
You know what I mean? I choose not to put my life on hold for acting.
Right.
That's how you drown. That's how you suffer.
It is honestly like you got to just keep swimming, I guess. Like Dory said,
You go
it
to
best,
audition,
boys.
you go to an audition. Look, when I stand in front of this thing and I audition, if I'm hurting, when you're nervous, casting directors can see it. They smell that shit. They smell the desperation. You know, and then when you're desperate, you're not sexy, you're not appealing, you're not a valuable product. You know,
Right.
they could tell there's something still missing in you. Right?
Mhm.
But look, when I got my businesses here and I'm working, everything is great. I stand in front of this and I'm like, I'm doing this because I love this shit. I don't need it. I'll be all right.
Perfect.
Still drive a nice car, live in a nice house, eat good food, work out, live,
Yeah.
travel. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I do
to-
this because I love it. It's passion. I'm bringing my passion for you. bring
that's-
my-
Is it because that you don't need it, basically, and it gives you this laid back vibe, which allows you to be able to
be
like
you.
not have this, basically not have give off this desperation vibe which you described.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And then like you see me. This is who I am every day. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to be fake. This is what you're getting, right?
Right. Okay, so let me ask you this, because I think this is something very important to anyone who wants to make it out in the film industry.
Yeah.
Out of 10 auditions, right? How many take you in?
Okay, so interesting fact. Out of 10 auditions, I will probably get 5 callbacks.
Right.
Callbacks are round 2s.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the callbacks, I'll probably get 1.
Right. So there has been auditions which you've tried and you did not make it through.
I think right now I've over about 150 auditions.
That you did not make it through. And still, you have been featured in really good movies, right? So word of advice from you, right? A successful actor to any actors or future actors wanting to pursue this.
2 things. Live your life, don't put your life on hold. Continue living your life, but don't stop auditioning. Don't stop pursuing. Live your life.
What would you learn from your? What would you say you learned from your rejections and from your auditions?
Not to take it personal. Because the first thing is never take it personal. It's not nothing to do with you. Because when you're auditioning, these casting directors usually have a list in front of them. Maybe they want somebody with curly hair. Like my hair is curly. Maybe they want more curls, right? Like maybe Ali's got the curls, right? But we want darker hair. Ali's hair is too light. We want darker hair, right? Look, Saeed's got curly hair and he's dark. Yeah, but you know what? His beard is too full. His beard is full. We want somebody with a lighter beard.
I'll shave it. For the role, I'll shave it.
I mean, do they go? Are they actually that punctual? Like, are they that detailed?
We want somebody with a slimmer. Like Saeed's great, but we want somebody with a slimmer build. You know what I mean? Like that. Sometimes they have things like that you're just not in control of.
Really
you know what I mean? However, the fact that I get callbacks, right? That means that I am a good actor. Because with callbacks, the casting director sees the talent, and then they push the talent to the producers and the directors. The directors are the ones that have these picky, we want him to look like this. We have an idea of this for him. You know what I mean? So it's really not you, right? But a casting director, once you see that you're comfortable, you know the character in and out, you've got the flow down, you've got the right attitude down, like you'll make it to the second round. But at this point, I never get upset when I don't book anything, because it's not meant to be. It's not about my skill set or who I am.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Something we discussed yesterday was the producers. Like if you have a good reputation with them, you can easily get a job with them. But I wanted to go over the relationship between the director and the producer. Like I don't know if you've witnessed the relationship between the two. Like how do they interact with each other, especially if the producer is like imposing something on the director during a production. For example, hiring someone who the director doesn't want.
Look, at the end of the day, it's the director's call, because the director is the one that has the vision, right? But the producer is the one financing the movie and bringing everything together. The producers hired the director, but it's the director's vision. So if you want to look at the end of if you as a producer really care about the craft, about the vision, about the story, you really pay attention to what the director says, and you'll take that to heart. Like you try your best to listen to the director and try to compromise, because the director's the one with the vision. He's going to make this thing, come true on screen. So if you as a producer come in and start forcing people in without the director's approval, you're going to ruin the picture. Right? You're going to ruin the chemistry on screen. You're going to ruin this. You know what I mean? So like that. And look, because at the end of the day, like the producers have the power to do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
You heard that?
You heard that, because it's a big confusion, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's show business, right? There's an art to it and there's a business to it. And these things don't always match up together. Sometimes the art just wants to be pure art versus no, you need to sell this thing. Yeah. So it's a really
here's a typical example, especially now with social media. And I've seen this on TV. You got all these people on TV, like they can't act for shit. You look at the resume. Have they studied acting? No. How the hell did they get? The producer know this guy's gonna get eyes. He's gonna get views.
Social media followers.
He got a lot of followers. So that's why the producer's gonna want to push this guy into the film, because they'll get the numbers. Now the director's gonna be like, fuck, how am I gonna make this like you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell the story here. I'm trying to get somebody who can be the, can feel the essence of this character, who can transform. But this guy's like, yeah. But he's got to listen to what the producer says because it comes down to the dollars, right?
You know why? It's because film appreciation over the years has been slowly just dropping, right?
Film appreciation?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
People who just genuinely enjoy a good movie versus, oh, this actor's acting in that movie.
I wouldn't.
Right?
I don't agree with that, to be honest.
It's, if you don't, I'm sorry, but you're a little delusional.
Everything is a franchise now, bro.
Yeah, everything's a franchise. Yeah, like let's be honest. You're more likely to watch a movie because an actor or a director directed it than just for the sake of watching a movie. Let's be honest. It's very true. And I
don't think that's true, because like I remember whenever Ali would come up with, I remember when Ali would come to to Lebanon, and we would sit and do these movie marathons, and Ali would basically create this list based on the awards they would get, not who was directing it. Now obviously whoever is directing it, and if there's a good actor, it's a bonus, it's a big bonus, and franchises usually tend to be good ones. But if you want to watch like a really good movie, and if you want to enjoy it and appreciate that movie, you watch something that's actually received a proper like appraisal from professionals.
Yeah, but that's you and Ali. I'm talking about the rest of the world. In terms of the whole world.
It's not like we're the only ones who do that, bro.
Of course, I'm not saying appreciation has completely depleted. I'm saying slowly but surely over the years, it's decreasing.
But Ali, remember, bro, at the end of the day, it's still a business, right? These studios, like, they don't want to take the risk anymore. They wanna guarantee, right? They want to guarantee their money back, and that's why franchises are the safest bet, because they know when they do another Marvel movie, the whole world's gonna come watching it, and then that's gonna bring in their dollars to keep the company afloat.
Right. And speaking of Marvel movies, is that the dream for all actors now to get into? Because like,
if they want the big money, yeah, I guess
everyone who is an actor has like been in a Marvel movie, right?
And getting in Marvel, you're already repped, so you could definitely.
You can definitely do like an Arab-based superhero. I
mean, look, I'd be lying if I said I never thought about it.
Dude, take over Black Adam instead of the Rock.
But I think, I think it's fun. But would I want to be a superhero the rest of my life? Absolutely not. No, of course not. And let me tell you why. So when you look at acting, obviously, like, the fame is fun, all the perks are fun, right? It's entertaining, but the real and I learned this from my one of my acting teachers. His name is Howard Fine. In his book, the beauty about acting is you really get to understand the perspective of people from different walks of life, right? Because real actors, when you prepare for a role, like, you gotta dig real deep. Whatever profession it is, it's your responsibility to do your homework. And your homework is, I don't know if it's shadowing, reading, researching, like, you really gotta dive into the character. So think about it. Throughout somebody's career, when you play a doctor, a lawyer, dentist, drug addict, businessman, entrepreneur, whatever it is, think of how much of a rich life you would have lived when you're 80 years old and you've played all these characters. And for each and every one of them, as a professional actor, you've done your due diligence and you've dug into the profession, you've dug into the character, right? Think of how rich your life is going to be because you have all these experiences. That's why I'm passionate about acting. To bring it back first circle, when I was graduating, going to college, I didn't know what I wanted to do, right? Engineer, lawyer, doctor, I saw myself doing all of that. Acting is the best platform to allow me to do all of that.
Right.
Because those are the choices your parents gave you. I'll be a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, whatever.
Gonna be all of them.
You gotta pick one of them, right? So that's me. I was trying to decide which one. I can't decide which one.
The thing with, for example, the major superhero movies is the actors tend to be able to get a long-term contract, which is a safer bet for them financially and career-wise, because this way they have a a more settled gig, which they can do more often. Obviously, with series, the same thing. So maybe that's they try to take the safer option instead of taking the risk on themselves and like going for feature films that are one time. Like, what's your opinion on that point?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely safer,
Yeah.
right? But then, and my biggest fear of it ending up to be a job, right? Like people try to escape the 9 to 5, you end up jumping into another 9 to 5. The only difference is acting, which you will enjoy it. It's something I enjoy doing, but that's my biggest fear. Is it going to end up feeling like a job again if I'm in the same series, same show, same running? You know, so
it's not just that. I think
happiness more than security, bro. You know what I mean?
It's a type of routine. Actually, based on that, do you dislike routines?
No, I'm big on routines. I'm big on routines that I know can benefit me. You know.
Okay, but like repetition, not really. So like repeating the same role and same gigs.
Oh, you talk about repetition like that? Yeah, that will. I'm not a fan of that, bro, because then you become stagnant. Yeah. No, it is. I'm thinking about it. I don't like being stuck. I just don't like the feeling of being stuck.
No one wants to be stuck. We all want freedom to be able to move around and do what we want and work on what our heart wants us to work on, not on what we have to do.
Exactly.
So that's where the risk lies, Ali.
That's like where the risk. Yeah, man.
You want your freedom. You want your freedom, but at the same time, you gotta, you take the risk there.
Big success.
Yeah, but that's why you gotta diversify. I mean, this is where the business mindset comes in. That's why you gotta diversify. When you get all this income from a show, you get all these hundreds and thousands of dollars.
Don't spend it.
You don't go blow them on clothes and jewelry and cars, right? No, you throw that shit in investments, right? You let that money work for you. So eventually you build your passive income. Right. So while I'm sitting at home, I'm still collecting my checks without even lifting a finger every month because you've let that money work. and that's the goal. Then you've got the freedom, right, to play the roles you want when the right time comes. You're not hurting. It's the same concept that is right now. I have all these other jobs, like I work all these other areas just so I can feel comfortable and, take role and not be desperate for roles, right? But as you grow older, I don't think anybody wants to work when they get older. That's why you want to use that money and invest it. So now instead of me working for that money, is just coming in passively. So you still maintain that freedom, that same mindset, that same confidence.
Amazing. And so I want to move it on a little bit and ask you about actors' relationships with directors. What are your favorite relationships with directors, and what are some of the best qualities of the best directors?
So usually good directors are ones that have either trained in acting or have been actors, simply because they speak the language. You know what I mean? Because some directors, when they ask actors of things, it's usually vague. They would ask for stuff. As an actor, I'd ask myself, what's the motivation? Why do you want me to come over here and raise my hand when I reach to this point, to this mark? Why would I raise my hand at this mark? That's not natural, right? A real director would rephrase that question and, feed you something that's going to motivate you as an actor to perform that action that he wants from you, right? That's the first thing. I think directors that have a background in acting, create that synergy between an actor and the director for them to work more effectively together. And as when I was in school, I was definitely a good student, right? So I'm very good with following instructions, following direction from a director. I'm very good with that. Listening is huge, right? In acting, they say 80% of acting is listening, because you eventually react naturally when you're listening. So that's how the performance becomes organic, because you're listening. By doing that, I'm able to, I listen to directors. I'm physically present, and mentally present when we have that conversation. I'm in tune with him, right? So it's all about listening for what he wants. It sounds simple, trust me, but when it comes to active listening, it's a skill that not a lot of people.
Especially on a busy set. Yeah, exactly.
Or a
Everyone's
podcast.
things going, or a podcast. You have a million things going on, and trying to pay attention and focus.
Yeah. And you know, and it helps when you've actually produced and like directed films, when you're on the back end of a film, because then like I understand what the director is feeling, I understand what he's trying to accomplish, and I understand just the sensitivity of the craft and the sensitivity of his vision. So I look at it as an intimate relationship when working with a director. Like I would always open myself up for these conversations. What do you want? What's your vision? How do you want it to feel? You know, like those conversations are healthy in my opinion. I love having them because...
Speaking of sensitivity, was there ever like a role or a scene you had to film you were just completely uncomfortable with, but you just forced yourself into it? Like,
no, luckily I haven't been in that position.
Right, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, you get to review your script anyway before the the job.
Yeah, and then look, that's why you have managers and agents. If something comes up and you're uncomfortable, you know, I've got them I can lean on for these hard.
I heard there's like clauses like within the contract where you have to agree if, for example, if there's like a makeout scene or like if there's something that's, you know, 18 plus or anything of the sort, you have to agree to this beforehand, and both actors have to agree to it beforehand. Is that true?
I think so. I think yeah. I know for a fact, like when you audition for roles, it's in a disclaimer, like, hey, this role will include so and so, so you know right up front going in what to expect.
And what's your opinion on that? For example, like there's a lot of famous actors who, when they started off, they start off in roles where there is nudity in it, and then they just cut it out from their careers as they grow older. It's like, is this their way of like propelling themselves into better roles later on?
Well, I mean, it can be, right? But you're exposing yourself at a cheaper rate. When you do that, earn, you know what I mean?
Well,
you will never see me do that stuff.
Yeah.
One, because like I said, bro, like I've built my foundation on what I stand for, right? And that's gonna be very hard to break. Like that's the first thing. And the second thing is like, and also you gotta understand, like acting is like it's an art, okay? It's a craft. Good artists are able to separate their ego, right, from the actual craft. It's not about them. It's not about Ahmed. You know, it's not about Ali. There's nothing to do with you. You are, I don't want to say a slave to the story. No, you are serving the story, right? You're serving the story. And, you know, good artists, you know, they put their personal life aside and serve the story. These are the ones that go crazy like method actors and whatnot. You know what I mean? Yeah, like not shower for 30, 60 days, not do all this crazy stuff. I mean, and look, that's another style of acting that's out there. And it's ballsy, bro. I'm not down with it. It's ballsy.
Yeah,
it's just not my style. You know, it's just not me.
Oh wow, interesting. I want to know who your favorite actors are. So you said you've worked with Liam Neeson, a legend, honestly. So who else would you like to work with, and who are the actors that inspired you to get into acting?
So my favorites have at a young age, right before college, let's just say before college, it was Van Damme, Steven Seagal, and Arnold. Classics.
Get to the chopper. Honestly,
the action movies.
Action movie star. Let's go.
And then when I got to college, it became Robert Downey Jr. top, Denzel. You know,
Denzel.
And then you you got your Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. Like I feel like those are on everybody's list,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
So your taste really shifted, by the way. If like I don't know if. But what exactly was the shift? Because you went from action movies to people who do a wide range.
I'll tell you. So as an infant growing up, right? When I was younger, it was all about the action. Your Van Damme, your Arnold, Steven. It was action, right? It was action. It was about being on TV. It was about the lights, the artificial, right? And then once I
James Bay explosions and all that.
Yeah, and then once I decided that, after 2010, when I started going real auditions and I started, taking this a lot more seriously, I'm like, this is what I want to do. The purpose started to change, right? It's now about the telling the story. It's about the art. It's about just having the ability to just capture an audience when you're on screen, right? And then that's when I started to, I started researching all these actors. I started watching all sorts of movies, and then like the top of my list would be, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, right? And then I told you, every movie Denzel makes, man, you can't take your eyes off the screen because of his intensity, right? Robert Downey Jr., he's a great actor because everybody says he's himself in every movie, and that's the thing. That is acting. Acting is you being yourself in every role that you play and still being able to convince people and and get their buy-in, because acting.
But maybe that's because they just cast him as the old grumpy man, you know what I mean? Sort of like if they cast an Arab actor as the Arab, I don't know, terrorist, or
exactly.
like
a
militant, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I don't know about that. I'll be very honest.
Well, look, there's real acting is reacting. It's being. Right, you're being a real human in different circumstances within the script, right? You're not fabricating anything, right? It's like, how would you really react if you have this situation in front of you, and you being able to react genuinely on screen? Like, that's powerful acting, and that's why a lot of times, you'll see Robert Downey Jr. play all these roles, and he's very similar in all these roles because he is being who he really is. He's not fabricating anything.
Interesting.
And to me, that's like proper acting right there.
Yeah. Unlike Daniel Radcliffe, right? Like, I always see him as Harry Potter. There's no way he's gonna grow out of that. Like,
he definitely got typecasted with that, right?
Yeah, like, honestly, if you look at his films after Harry Potter, it's all flopped. It's all flopped, and that's
Not
mainly
necessarily.
because
I wouldn't say that.
No, actually, some of his movies.
Yes.
That was
man. Amazing Daniel Radcliffe movie. I love Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah. So
I don't know. He's still Harry Potter to me.
It is, because some actors are really transformative. They transform between every single role. Like Joaquin Phoenix, you don't recognize him on every single film. He's a completely different human being. Versus Robert Downey Jr. is kind of like in Sherlock Holmes and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and Iron Man. He's all kind of the same guy.
Yeah.
So
back.
You like that second approach more like Iron Man style. Yeah. Interesting.
And like Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Accents aside, you still feel like it's still him. It's still him, right? Accents aside, because sometimes it's
true.
Still him. Like, that's also another role
actor
I look up to.
Yeah.
Like, when I watch these movies, I'm enjoying the movie, but I'm studying the shit out of these guys.
What do you mean by studying the shit out of these guys?
Just studying, like, what's really a Leo move and what's really a Robert Downey Jr. Move, right? Like, has anything been fabricated to fit an actor? And a lot of times, it's all real stuff. Like, you'll see it in different, like, there's patterns in different movies, like the way they talk, the way they act. You know what I mean?
And what are the details that you would pay attention to or analyze? Like, if you want to give advice to other people who want to study professional actors, like, what should they look out for?
Like, I look at the body language, like the way they tilt their head, like, I don't know, head tilts, eye gazes, speech patterns, tone of voice, right? They speak faster, they speak slower, reactions to general questions. Is it the same reaction in every movie, right? Because that's when you're like, oh, like, that's how he really is, right? And then sometimes you watch interviews with these guys, you remember their performance, you see them in real life. Is it the same? Like that.
Right. Well, we're almost out of time here, so let's end this.
Is that a bad thing, though?
By the way, I do want to say that is a weird way of studying. That's just what I do, right? It's not taught in class. This is the thing that I do.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess the best way to study actors is to watch actors, right? You just watch them and you're like, wow, this is literally what they're doing. Yeah. I guess.
Well,
but acting school. So did acting school help you just understand, like, their motivation and the other stuff they're doing?
Yeah, definitely. The technicals for sure. 100%. Yeah.
So you definitely do recommend acting school for new actors.
Absolutely.
So, all right.
Yeah, but don't think going to an acting school is going to guarantee you a job. It's not.
No, it's
It
just
will-
there
it-
to
yeah.
instill the
What
skill
will
in
it-
you. You
What
know
will
what to
it
do
do?
with the
Just
skill.
teach you skills? So what will it do if they want
It will teach you skills.
necessarily
And
get
it
you a
will
job?
keep your. It will, because it's a craft. Like it's practice. You got to keep practicing. It'll keep you fresh. Help you explore. Yeah, explore what lies in you, what you can bring out to the screen, what you're actually capable of. It just puts you in these scenarios to know what you can do, what's in your tool set.
Interesting. Right. Well, we are almost out of time here. So the last, I think, question is what we all want to know is what's the future looking like for you, Ahmed?
Future's bright, man. Future's bright.
Let's go.
I'm an optimistic guy.
Good.
I did a movie called North of the 10. We shot in Dubai. I just got back. Sorry, we shot in Abu Dhabi. I
Wow.
just got back last week. We've got that, and then there's the movie On Our Way. That it's Liam Neeson, Paul Ben Victor. And then there's a Netflix show coming out. There's a Amazon Studios. I've got a guest episode on Amazon Studios show coming out. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, man. It's
You guys tuned.
the pipeline is looking solid.
Right. That's good. That's good. Man.
It's coming together.
We're glad to see. I'm glad that this is happening.
Yeah, congrats for the success.
Congrats for your
Yeah,
success.
pretty much.
honestly.
Great to hear, Ahmed. Yeah.
See you
Okay,
at the
bro,
very,
yeah.
very top, right? Because that's where we'll
Hopefully.
be waiting for you.
Waiting for you.
Yeah, you wait for me, I'll wait for you, but we'll see each other up there.
We'll see each other up there eventually, and that's what's
right.
important, right? Well, thank you very much for watching another episode of A to the Show. If you guys enjoyed this episode half as much as we enjoyed filming for you guys, please do like, subscribe, and share, right?
Yeah.
Forgot what I usually
But
say.
thank you so much.
To leave a comment
thank
into the
you.
comment section.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, share, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, obviously.
yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to shout out or let the world know?
I just want to thank everybody who's watching. Just stay positive. Glass half full all the time, and just have faith and keep believing in yourself.
That's right. Well,
Amazing.
peace.
This is inspirational, honestly.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time, Ahmed.
Thank
No
you very
Ahmed, you should
Signing
add
out.
motivational speaker to your career as well.
much. You're welcome. Right? Peace, love, happiness. We'll see you guys.
Bye.